Yeah, it's a great time, and it's a great community. I mean, Midwest Crawlers, our philosophy is no one left behind and leave no one where you found them, and we take that very seriously. Another Jeeper broke down on the side of the highway. We don't just roll by and honk and wave. There'll be 7 or 8 of us that will stop and go, okay, so what do you need? And
Yeah.
we did when we were in Colorado back in the fall. Gladiator had a significant problem. We put it back together. One of the guys with us crawled up under the rig with zip ties and duct tape and got them functional so they could get to a shop to get it fixed. I mean, just
Yep.
that's the philosophy. I mean, it's absolutely leave no one behind.
Wave it up, let it roar, feel the ground shake. Pedal down, dust flying, no time to waste. The trailhead's calling, engine power on a roll. This is where trails start and stories unfold. On the starlit skies, where the wild things roam. Every trail a journey, every Jeep a home. Meet at the trailhead, where the wild ones run. The dust kicks high and the day's not done. With the road wide open, the dirt in our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold.
Welcome back to the Trailhead. Today we're joined by two members of the Midwest Krawlers Off-Road Club, one of the most active and passionate off-road communities in the Kansas City region. Founded with the mission to bring people together through off-roading, the Midwest Crawlers are more than just a club. They're a community that supports each other on and off the trails. They host trail rides, rock crawling events, camping trips, and beginner-friendly skills classes while promoting responsible four-wheeling through tread lightly principles. But their impact goes beyond recreation. One of their standout initiatives, the Snow Squad, mobilizes to assist essential workers and first responders during severe weather, providing free rides to those who need them most. Today we have Mike Malone and Brantley here to talk about their experiences, the club's mission, and how making a difference in the off-road world and beyond. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting us.
It's good to be here.
Thank you for dealing with me pushing through that. Sometimes I try new stuff here at the beginning of the show, and I probably shouldn't, but you know, it's new technology all the time. They're trying to add features and stuff, and I should just avoid it. It's not good for me. Well, welcome to the show, guys. I had learned about you guys through the USA Today article. I get a ton of news links and stuff that come up when, especially from Midwest stuff, because I'm, as I was saying before we got on the air, I am from Chicago, the Chicagoland area. And I'm always, when I moved out here, I didn't really understand what, kind of Western off-roading was. I knew that you could off-road in parks in the Midwest, but I hadn't really gone and done it. And now as I start off-roading, I'm starting to realize like there's a whole mess of off-roading that you can get and trouble you can get into in the Midwest. You just have to know where to find it.
Oh, yeah. Look hard enough.
If you look hard enough, he says. There it is. Yeah. I saw a few of the videos. There's some mud. You guys have some fun stuff out there. So, all right. Well,
and rest assured, I can always find it.
Well, if it's not in your Jeep still, right?
Yeah, correct.
That's my issue with mud. It's always been my issue with mud. All right. Well, we'll start with you then, Mike. Please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit, or tell us, I should say, a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
My name is Mike Malone. I live in Liberty, Missouri. I've lived in and around Kansas City my entire life. Probably when I first met my wife, and my lovely wife and I have been married for 37 years, and we bought our first Jeep, took it out to Colorado, went and did Imogene Pass outside of Ouray, and we were hooked. I mean, just flat hooked. And we did Imogene Pass in a 98 Cherokee stock.
Oh,
and that
boy.
let me tell you. So we did it successfully, and we were in love. So we just kept going, and we stayed with all SUV type. We never went to a Wrangler. And then this last year, my wife, it was time for a new car, and she said, I want my dream car. I want a Wrangler. So she did some shopping and some other things, and she found a 2011 Wrangler with really low mileage that she flat fell in love with. So we got
That's
it.
awesome.
We did our first 101 class. And once she did that first 101 class, she was committed. And then she was committed to drive, not just to ride. and
That's great.
she's lifted it and done some stuff to it, and then we met Midwest Crawlers, and then it was all over but the crying, and just and everything goes from there. Like on our snow squad, and you probably should have my wife on here instead of me, but my wife is our technology director on the board of directors. So the way Snow Squad works is people come onto our website, they fill out a form, upload their hospital ID showing that they're a first responder, etc. And then my wife has it all set up to dump into a spreadsheet. And then she shares that spreadsheet out with all the drivers. And that's how everybody does their routes and how we do all of what we do. So in actuality, all the logistics of it belongs to my wife. Personally,
Well, that sounds about right, though. There's always people behind the scenes.
yeah, and she sends me out to drive, so she stays home and does all the logistics and sends me out in the field to drive.
So, I mean, there's some. I feel like she's making the smarter decisions in terms of safety. It's just there is that.
Yeah, absolutely. But
All right.
I can tell you during the blizzard we had in January for about 12 hours that first day. Other than the occasional trip to the bathroom, I don't think she moved from her desk. She was just, it was, and ride requests were coming in at a pace of like 3 or 4 a minute.
The storm was apparently was pretty intense. So we'll talk a little bit more about it, because I want to hear the whole story from front to end. So, how long ago was it that you got that Jeep then? And you're still rocking the old vehicle, right?
No, unfortunately, believe it or not, that one somebody pulled out in front of my wife and it got totaled. I rebuilt it. We drove it for another couple years as a spare. I hit a deer, rebuilt it again, because that's what Jeepers do.
Yeah.
Rebuilt it again. We drove it for a long time, and then it was involved in another accident. And I'm not a bad driver, don't get me wrong, but it was involved in another bad accident and did sufficient damage that it was all over. So then we went from that one to a 2004 Grand Cherokee and had that one up until 2 years ago, which when we lost that one, that's when she decided she wanted a Wrangler. She was done playing the SUV game.
All right, that's fair. Well, I guess I'll leave that to Brantley to tell us then whether or not you're actually a good driver or not. Is it that is he a good driver, or is it just that in snow it doesn't matter?
I mean, in snow you can't really tell who's a bad driver and who's a great driver.
No. There are some are obvious, but most of the time you can't. Yeah.
No, Mike's good. It's the invincible pickup trucks you got to watch out for.
Yes,
that's a true story. Yes. All right. Well, Brantley, so how about yourself? Where are you from? How did you get into off-roading? How did you end up being your president of the club now, right?
Yeah, president, due to a lack of options. So,
you know what? Every president of every organization that I talk to, that's usually like, that's how it came to be. They're like, you need to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, the national presidential election. It's like, okay, the lesser of two evils. Midwest Crawlers. Hey, I'm the only evil you need. So, no,
I think that's a great campaign slogan.
Flip side, he won by a landslide.
There it is. Well, you can't really argue with it.
No, right. You're a pretty good driver, Mike. You're pretty good.
Thank you.
So, no, but I'm originally from Illinois. So you're up in Chicago. I'm way down there at the bottom, close to the Carbondale area. Grew up with, pickup trucks, Jeeps, all that kind of fun stuff. In high school, everyone knew where I'd park that day because there was always a perfect rectangle the size of my Cherokee of just mud, because I would usually hit a farmer's field on the way to school. And over the course of the day, the mud would just slip off the side of the Jeep, create a perfect rectangle, and I'd be right back at it the very next day. So always been in love with Jeeps, always wanted a Wrangler, never could afford it on a KFC paycheck growing up in high school. So I had an 88 XJ, limited, but the only thing limited about it at that point was the paint was peeling off, the headliner was draping down, so I had thumbtacks up there to try and keep it off my head, and the heat did not work. So driving back and forth from college, you would get a bottle of water from the gas station. By the time you drove 2 hours, if you hadn't drank it, it was a solid piece of ice. Ooh, but it was a Jeep, and it was mine, and it was the real deal. And that Jeep lasted me until a fateful date. We were going to go see a movie. The movie didn't start for another hour. So I'm like, hey, you want to go mudding? And this was February. We get out in the middle of this farmer's field, and all of a sudden the four-wheel drive just stops working. And it was very, very muddy. And that was the last date I ever went out with this one girl.
So I was ready for like the fairy tale, and I married her.
Oh, no.
Okay.
There was no fairy tale. No, I took everything out of that Jeep that could possibly use for traction, tried to put it underneath the back tires, but there was no rescuing this. This was a doomed date, and that was the end of the XJ. So ended up selling that, and went to school, went to Chicago, lived there for a few years.
I'm sorry.
And then fast forward, like we're married, my wife and I, and we're down in Florida before we moved to Kansas City. And she wants a new vehicle. And she had her heart set on a Prius. I'm like, you can have whatever you want, and it's going to be your choice. I won't even test drive a vehicle. I'll just watch the kids in the lobby. You go pick out the vehicle that's right for you. But you can't just test drive one. You've got to test drive a variety to make sure that you get the right vehicle for us. So she starts off with a Prius. It's a sensible choice. I mean, it's smart. It's efficient. It'll get you from A to B, but maybe not that many smiles along the way. And then she test drive a Mazda. And then she test drove a few more. I'm like, what about that Jeep over there? And it was like this Patriot Blue 2013 Jeep JK 4-door. And so she has to climb up into it. And she drove. 15 minutes later, she comes back and she's got the biggest smile on her face. And so she decided to go with the exact opposite of a Prius. She wanted a Jeep. And we shopped around for a few more months, ended up getting a Jeep. I mean, really, Mike and I's story is very similar. We get to play with these things. We get to build them up and wrench on them and rebuild them. But at the end of the day, it was our wife's decision. This is what she wanted.
I'm a little jealous. Yeah, I'm a little jealous. Like, I can't do that justification. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, we bought that JK back in 2015. We've not rebuilding it, but building it up ever since. It went from never going to have anything larger than 33s to 35s as big as we're going. And then we get a 3.5-inch lift, and now we're on 37s. And then we come back from Arizona and we decide, you know what? This would really do better with 38s.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
So moral of the story is never say never.
No. And if the worst part is you keep challenging yourself, and then you go out to, say, in Arizona, and you do something a little hard, and you're like, you know what, make this a little bit easier, like slightly larger tires or a slightly bigger lift, or
another inch of lift, slightly larger tires, and we could have gone up Crown King a different way. So, and that's really what it was. It's like, I really want to tackle this, but I can't. Next time will be different.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much you can't tackle with 37s or 38s, but I get it. Yeah. I mean, I'm still sitting on 35s, and I'm almost getting forced into 37s. What are you saying, Mike?
Oh, it comes to be that time. Amy did the wall on Poughkeepsie outside of Ouray this last fall, and she had not a lot of trouble, but a little bit of trouble. And she was ready by the time she got up it. She was ready to go to 38s, 39s. She was ready to go bigger. Personally, I think if we lift it again, it's going on 43s, and it's going to get trailered. But that's where I'm at.
All right. So I got a question. Well, I got a question for both of you about like where you take a vehicle with 43s in the Midwest to go off-roading.
Wherever you want. Whatever you want.
I mean, I think we looked it up one day, and I think monster truck tires are 60 inches or larger. So we're inching closer and closer to that. And it's a bit ridiculous. Okay. All right. It's you said since 2015 you've been rolling with the Wrangler?
That's right.
And how long you been the president of the club?
2025. So 6 weeks without an incident.
So you're fresh. You're very fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike, did you give that up to him, or?
Oh God, no, no. My wife, Amy, has been the technology director. She was the technology director for 24, and she's the technology director for 25. About 2/3 of the way through 2024, the social director resigned, and this was like 3 weeks before one of our biggest events of the year. So I foolishly agreed to take on the social director's job to get them through 2024. So I did.
Guess who's
and
still the social director?
Yeah, and we did well. Well, at the elections, I gave up social director. I said I'm not doing it. The
It's a
girl
lot to
that has it,
manage.
the girl that has it now is great, and she's doing very well. But she's also like 6 weeks into this job, so I've been helping her since the beginning of the year. Well, but right before the elections, the guy that was going to run for president walked up to me at a club meeting where I was selling swag, and he goes, "So, would you consider a board position next year?" And I said, "I don't really want one." And he goes, "Yeah, but would you consider one?" And I went, "Yeah, all right." So now I'm the sponsorship guy is what I do now.
All right.
But somehow I went from I will help with swag to being the sponsorship director. I'm still not sure how exactly that happened, except Brantley's a really good salesman.
I mean,
And
he's
you're
got to
really
try
good
to
at getting
offload some of
sponsors.
it. There it is. See, he's got you. All right. So tell me a little bit, and this is for either of you then, to tell me a little bit about Midwest Crawlers, how they came to be, how long they've been around, a little bit about what your guys' like base core mission was before kind of the snow stuff came to be.
Mike, you want to start us off?
And
Go for it.
Midwest Krawlers came into existence. The club started in 2016, I believe. That's right, isn't it, Brantley? Yep.
Correct.
So 2016, and it was, a group of people that just wanted to get together and wanted to off-road. So that's
Okay.
how they started. The president from a couple years ago, he became the president probably 2 or 3 years in, and he wrote the bylaws, he wrote all the rules, and they've been enforced. They've stood well. The membership has continued to grow and grow and grow. And what do we got now, Brantley? Like we're at what, 550 for this year?
So we've got just shy of 8,000 members total when you look at social media in the KC metro area. As far as paid memberships, people with more skin in the game, right now we're floating around, as of this morning, it was 452.
That's pretty impressive. No, that's still, those are impressive numbers, no matter how you look at it, especially in the Midwest.
Yeah. And the thing is, our membership they're all involved. I mean, active. You know how it goes. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a viewpoint. We try really hard to listen to everybody. I mean, are we going to make everybody happy? That's not possible. Universal
You
popularity
guys have
is a
long
wonderful
meetings,
thing.
don't you?
Yeah, we do.
That's all right. It's nice to have that kind of a community where you can have that kind of feedback directly, especially when an organization starts to get larger. Okay.
Yeah, our membership is very involved.
That's fantastic. So what else do you guys do? You do off-road parks. What else do you have in terms of off-roading there that you guys do like for guided, I wouldn't say guided runs per se, but events?
Yeah. It's like our events run the spectrum from, Taco Tuesday runs to summer trips where we're going to South Dakota, we're going to Windrock, we're going to Colorado, Moab. I mean, everything in between as well. So we were looking at our calendar of when are some open days that we need to fill. And right now our calendar is completely booked up between now and April, just filled with all kinds of different events. Our big kickoff to wheeling season is actually this coming Saturday. It's going to be at Kansas Rocks, which is about 90 minutes, 2 hours, depending on where you're from in the Kansas City area. It's a great park at Kansas Rocks. How many acres, Mike?
Oh, Lord.
160, 200.
Yeah, something like that. I know he was negotiating last year for some more. So I want to say somewhere close to 200.
Yeah. But if you like mud, that's a great park. If you like obstacles that are going to just kind of give you some goosebumps because you're a first-time wheeler, it's a great park. If you're looking for obstacles to see if 43s are big enough or maybe you need something bigger, Kansas Rocks will also
Great park.
cover your bases. It'll cover everything. So we do stuff with Kansas Rocks a lot. We do stuff with SMORR just outside of Springfield, Missouri. SMORR stands for Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch. That was actually my first experience off-roading whenever we moved back to the Missouri area at a Jeep Jamboree, doing some trails there. Definitely a lot different than doing trails in Florida, because trails in Florida are usually swamps or you're out on the beach. And going and experiencing off-roading in the Midwest right here in the heart of Missouri, it was the start of the addiction. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So much fun there. And that's whenever I was first exposed to Midwest Crawlers. The guy in front of me on the trail, he had a Midwest Crawlers sticker on the back bumper. And we actually started having a conversation about that. And I'm like, I've never heard of an off-road club before, at least not one that does this kind of thing. And so he gave me the information. I looked it up, and that was 6 years ago. And I've been a member ever since.
Great.
Lots of great wheeling opportunities here in Missouri, also in Kansas. We've got some stuff down in Hot Springs, Arkansas, an amazing park down there. We go there about once or twice a year. And right now we're in the process of planning our big summer trip. And right now it's a toss-up. We might go up to Deadwood, South Dakota, do some wheeling up there with another local off-road group, or we might go out to Colorado to one of the amazing places out there. So always something going on. And we also do overlanding as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense. It feels like you guys you have that available to you to a certain degree. I think what folks in the Midwest don't realize is that when you get away from some of the bigger cities, you get out into the middle of nowhere. There are some dirt roads and country roads that you can travel and check local laws for camping, but there's a lot of places you can camp and a lot of places that you can roll between.
100%.
Very much so.
There's places like SMORR, there's places like the off-road parks in general. Do you guys have any kind of what we would consider in the West like the harder core off-roading and the stuff that you're doing at the parks out and about, or are you kind of confined to those places to do any kind of rock crawling?
To some degree, we're kind of confined to those places.
Okay.
You've got Tuttle Off-Road Park, which is in Manhattan, Kansas, which is about 90 minutes west of us. So, within about 90 minutes to 2 hours, we've got 5 off-road parks available to us.
Okay.
So you've
5,
got you've got Texplex in Branson. You've got Tuttle. You've got Kansas Rocks. You've got SMORR.
You guys got tons of options then.
Raised Rocks is just north of the city.
Yep.
And if you go as far as St. Louis, you're going to get Moonlight and a few others as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. To be fair to most people in Colorado, even we're, at least an hour to an hour and a half away from most of the trails that we want to do, even if we, live here in Denver, in the Denver area. So it's not unreasonable, especially if off-road parks are great because you can just head in 100 different directions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's great for large groups, especially. How far are you guys from the LBL, the Land Between the Lakes?
That is, what is that? About 3 hours, Brantley?
Oh, okay. Land Between, no, it's a ways away.
It's a little
that's
further.
Down there.
Okay.
That's down there around Kentucky Lake. Yeah. Did you happen to go there last year, Mike?
No.
Okay. I went to Land Between the Lakes, I believe it was 3 years ago. So it was a good park.
Oh.
It was nice. Lots of mud. It seemed like the more extreme stuff, I actually avoided it because it felt like it was just so confined and tight that the only ones going down there were side-by-sides. So it was a fun park though. And it's always nice to show up and you're surrounded by a bunch of other people that maybe they've never done it before. And then they see your rig and they're just like, whoa, your tires are so big. Can we follow you? I'm like, absolutely. Let me introduce you to this world of off-roading.
let me show you how it could be outside of a completely windowless vehicle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One advantage, we have heat.
Yes. Oh, that is a big deal for me these days, especially as I get older. I cannot deal. All right. So we doing kind of the off-road parks and kind of those events. What else are you guys doing throughout the year that's just kind of community event stuff that you do?
We have an event that comes up in August we call it our Sunflower event. It's for women, and we give scholarships. They're sent out through the year, and for girls that are moving into traditionally male dominated fields, our scholarship goes to them. And generally the Sunflower event that we have in August usually is the culmination of all of that. And it's all about women's skills. Everybody, encourages women to go drive the trails and everything. We always have it at Kansas Rocks. So it's a good opportunity especially for a lot of the a lot of the women that, you know, will ride with their husbands a lot during the year, gives them a chance to take control, get out and, you know, test their skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
and what you find out very quickly that they have lots of skills. They've got a lot. And if anything, it's the husbands that hold them back. Because they can pick lines like you wouldn't believe, because you can actually tell they're thinking about what line to take instead of just what a guy does. Oh, I'm feeling this one.
Yeah.
Well, you felt wrong.
Yeah, it definitely feels more calculated, and it feels like they bring a different level head. I love hearing about events like that, because it's been, you know, we've seen an uptick in the number of women that come out to large events, and that means that there are more people doing it on the weekends. And we need that kind of diversity in the sport, because otherwise it gets to be too much testosterone, and then we're just all breaking drive shafts and nothing's happening.
You got it.
So
And I tend to be the passenger princess when we go out off-roading, because I encourage Amy to drive. I'm like, I got no problem sitting here, kicking back and enjoying the ride.
again, I find myself jealous of you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great time, and it's a great community. I mean, Midwest Crawlers, our philosophy is no one left behind and leave no one where you found them, and we take that very seriously. And another Jeeper broke down on the side of the highway, we don't just roll by and honk and wave. There'll be 7 or 8 of us that will stop and go, okay, so what do you need? And we did when we were in Colorado back in the fall. A Gladiator had a significant problem. We put it back together. One of the guys with us crawled up under the rig with zip ties and duct tape and got them functional so they could get to a shop to get it fixed. I mean, just that's the philosophy. I mean, it's absolutely leave no one behind.
Yeah. It's really cool to see it in action when you see it in action. So, that's a great lead in then. So I take that's how you guys ended up starting the Snow Squad stuff. How did that come to be, first off?
Snow Squad actually existed before I joined the club. I've only been a member of the club about 2 or 3 years. So Snow Squad existed at that time. But at that time, that first winter that we did Snow Squad, here in Missouri, we get our winters are real sporadic. So the first winter I joined Snow Squad, we had like 5 requests for rides. We had 1 snowstorm and like 5 requests for rides. That was it. Nothing. So Snow Squad was nothing. Well, then fast forward to this year, we hit the blizzard and we took Snow Squad live, and we got like 1,100 requests. And mind you, we had 40 drivers, I think, and I was one of them. And you know, and we had ice the night before, so the city was a mess. And so, you know, we were not emotionally prepared for it to come like it came. And and nobody was. I mean, but you know, and like I said, you really should be talking to Amy, not to me. But you know, everybody involved in this just flat stepped up and put their A game forward. I mean, everybody was volunteering. I was getting hammered with requests from people on Facebook Messenger. Oh my God, I want to help. I want to help. I want to help. And we took everybody up on it. And I mean, everybody just threw down. So, I mean, Snow Squad I believe it was the president at that time's brainchild that we need to help first responders. And that was his focus was, you know, emergency room nurses, doctors, firefighters, EMTs, they have to be at work. And we had the ability to do it. And, you know, we had the capability, we had the drivers, we had the skill. So why not do it?
No, that's fantastic. Like you kind of touched on the logistics of it earlier. I think that's kind of the impressive piece for me is how you organize. I mean, I know the folks, you know, here 11 inches of snow. Was it 11 inches of snow that you guys got in one day?
I do believe it was 11 inches, but it was 11 inches falling on top of about, what was it, Brantley, half inch of ice?
Half inch of ice, minimum 11 inches of snow, depending on what part of the city you were in. It could easily get up to 14 or 15 inches of snow.
There was one point you had tractor trailers on the side of the roads everywhere, just parked because they weren't moving.
Remember the Cherokee that was dangling over the overpass? Do you remember that picture?
Oh, good Lord. All right, I'll have to find that picture and throw it in here.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Yeah, like Snow Squad this year was incredible because we knew it was coming.
Right.
But of course, like, you know, years past, the most rides we ever gave was probably around 40 or 50. And we would have volunteer drivers just clamoring to be one of the ones to be lucky enough to be able to give a ride. And this year, it's like, okay, you wanted it, now you've got it. We had people sleeping in their rigs in parking lots because they were there for a drop-off. And 30 minutes later, there was going to be 2 more people coming out of the hospital ready for a ride to go home. And so they would just sleep in the parking lot. We had some volunteers give over 40 rides.
Good Lord.
And some of those rides are 45 minutes long on a clear day in the summer. And so it was really neat to see people in the club step up, and they basically just embodied the motto of leave no one behind and leave no one where you found them. I mean, a lot of us are, nurses, volunteers. We might even have a doctor or 2 in the club and some police officers and firefighters, but a lot of us aren't. But we do have the time, we do have the expertise, like Mike said, and we have the rigs that can get you from point A to point B. And so we leave no one behind, and we leave no one where we found him. So if you need to get from your home to the hospital so that you can make a difference during the storm, if we can be a part of that story, even if it's just giving you a ride, that's really amazing to know that you were a part of something bigger than yourself. It was very cool to be a part of it. And all the volunteers that stepped up to drive, and then the volunteers on the back end, staying at home behind a computer screen, managing dispatch. I mean, everyone came together and everyone had a really important role to play. And it really spoke volumes, not just to me, but just to the entire city. Everyone knows what Midwest Krawlers is now because of Snow Squad.
I mean, nationally, people know who you are at this point. So,
I mean, what else is
I found
there?
out about you. Yeah. Like, I don't think, do not take me for any measure of success. I am not, this is not the show for it.
I was telling Mike, I'm like, we've made it. We have arrived. JD's gotten a hold of us, and
no, I think that you're good. I think you've no, just no. A, I don't want that level of responsibility, and B, I know I don't deserve it. But I appreciate you guys coming to talk to us.
That's great.
All right. So how long for you guys was the event? I mean, because I know, the storm is one piece of it, but the actual part where you guys are going to be doing those kinds of rides, that's going to last for at least a couple of days.
Mm-hmm. January lasted for, was it 4 days, Mike?
4 days.
4 days. In the most recent storm we had this past week, it lasted for maybe a day and a half tops.
Yeah. A little over a day. We went live. The last storm, we went live about 6 p.m. the night before, and which was technically before it really started snowing. But we did that so that the people that would need those 5 a.m. rides could get their ride requests in, and somebody would pick them up. So we went live at about 6 p.m. and we shut it down at about 8 or 9 p.m. the following night. Basically, what we do is we wait until once the main roads are clear, it's safe for us to shut Snow Squad down.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Once people can generally get around from place to place, it should be fine.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we can't wait till all the way out in the country roads are completely clear. So we have to make a decision. So there are a lot of highways here in Kansas City that all come together. So we make the decision based on once the main roads are good and the plows are out and everybody's rolling pretty good, then we shut down.
Yeah.
But even when we shut down, whatever rides we have remaining, we try to go ahead and complete them, because I did a ride in the last storm at 7 p.m. the night after we shut down, because I had taken the girl to work that morning and I knew she didn't have a ride home. So I told her to call me and I'd come get her. So
that's great. I mean, it's one of those things where, especially in an area like that, where you guys don't always get weather like that in that kind of a condensed format, people aren't used to getting from point A to point B. A lot of first responders here in Colorado, they're going to have the Jeeps, right? They can get to place. They don't necessarily need a service like that, although I do believe one exists here. But where you guys are at, it's almost an essential service at this point. So, I mean, that's fantastic. And it's good for you guys, right? Like, you guys got lots of attention just for doing what you guys like doing.
Yeah, a lot of volunteers that stepped up wanting to volunteer for Snow Squad that had no connection with the club whatsoever. They fell in love with the club. They fell in love with the membership, the people that were there. Because some of the best people I've met in Kansas City are Midwest Krawlers members, and they experienced that firsthand, and now they're new members. This is their first year being full-fledged members of the club, and now they're spreading the word as well. So it's been a great opportunity for us just to serve the community, and not that it's about getting paid off for it, but I mean, people have noticed and they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
Yeah. And I think that's the best way to get recognized for being who you are, is by those kinds of events. There's no better way to quote unquote promote yourself, right? It's just by being who you, the best that you are, and let the people come to you. And
exactly.
I'm so jonesed by the fact that there's just such a large group of off-roaders in the middle of the country. Like you don't think that there's a lot to do out that way, and to have them doing all this, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a Jeep back in 2011, whenever I got stuck in a hotel in downtown Chicago for 4 days straight because the snowpocalypse happened.
Yeah,
I mean, do you remember that? Were you in Chicago and like all of Lakeshore Drive was frozen solid?
Yeah, it took a full day of, it was a long day. I couldn't even get out of my house for a week or for a couple of days.
No, like I was at a hotel in downtown doing a shoot of a penthouse in like the hotel, and it was supposed to be like a 5-hour thing. It turned into 3 days. I couldn't leave, but on the positive side, I was able to stay in the penthouse suite the whole entire time. But if I would have had a Jeep, if there would have been a Jeep club and I was a part of it in Chicago, can you imagine the impact you would have had going up and down Lakeshore Drive, getting all those people out of their frozen vehicles and getting them to safety? Yeah. I mean, there's just so much possible whenever you have a group of people like this together. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. It's so great to see it out there.
Now, what's really wild, and this was something that came up time and time again, is that this isn't a paid service. So we're not looking for payment. We're not looking for donations. Don't Venmo us. This is just us. Just let us bless you if you'll let us do that. But people will try. People will try to sneak money before they get out. And I was letting a nurse out during the big storm in January, and I got maybe 2 or 3 miles down the road, and I go to take a drink of my coffee, and I go to tip it back, and I guess I'm out of coffee, because what hit me in the face was a wadded up $20 bill that he snuck into my into my coffee mug before he got out. But it was really neat because that nurse is a nurse at the same hospital where my wife is a therapist, and they didn't know each other. And just this past week, I drove my wife to work because we had that snowstorm a few days ago, Mike, and then I picked her up that evening. And during her lunch break at the hospital, she was walking through the cafeteria, and she overheard someone talking to his table about the Midwest Krawlers. And it turns out it was the same nurse that I gave a ride to. And he was just going on and on about how amazing the service was, how we refused payment, even though he snuck me a 20. I need to give that back to him eventually. But it was just really neat that those two people, completely disconnected. My wife overheard it, went and talked to him, and it turns out that he was the guy I gave a ride to. And so it was just really neat how that just spreads around.
It's the paid forward mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I had more people ask me when they would get in the Jeep, they'd go, "So how does the hospital pay you for this?" I'm like, "Oh no, this is a labor of love for us. This is not, And people are like, "Really? You guys don't get paid for this? Well, what covers your gas?" I'm like, "Well, I cover my gas."
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Well, you need to get paid for this." And
no, it's not the way it works for those kinds of situations. Yeah, if you guys were doing it every weekend, that might be a different ballgame. But
Oh no, like whenever you see snow in the forecast, Mike, if you see a big snowstorm coming, do you A, get scared, or do you B, get excited?
I get excited.
I get excited too. So I think there's either A, something wrong with this, or B, we're in an off-road club.
I think both things can be true, guys. Just so you know, I think both things can be true. Oh wow,
we're secure. It's okay. We're secure who we are. It's all right.
Yeah. So Snow Squad gives us a means to scratch that itch. Yeah. It's like, hey, it's a win-win. We get to get out and play in the snow. We get to justify the vehicles that we have, and we're also able to help someone out at the same time. So, hey, everyone's happy.
Somebody in Colorado will tell you one of the most fun things to do is actually get out and use all the recovery gear that you get for yourself. You actually use that winch that you only fire up once a year. I get it. All right, you guys don't do recoveries, right? You're just doing rides and stuff for folks, because recoveries gets a bit dicey.
I did some recoveries in between rides.
Okay.
I pulled a car out. It had gotten high centered on a snowdrift, and so I was able to pull it out. And there was an H2 Hummer that was stuck in a ditch, and I was able to pull him out as well. So, just
some folks get a little worried about liability. Yeah, exactly. It depends on.
I tell them, hey, just so you know, first and foremost, I am not a professional. If you're willing to take a risk, so am I. Do you have tow points? Fantastic. This is what we're going to do. And if at any point you feel uncomfortable, just let me know and we will stop and you can call a tow truck. But pulling out of snow, not too bad.
Yeah, minor.
Fair enough.
And a lot of the times in that situation, traction boards will get somebody out without ever having to hook up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's we'd had a recovery group here that was in Colorado, and they had to go legit because they'd had so many liability issues. But they're doing winching and high altitude recoveries. They're not pulling people off snowbanks. So
totally different game. Yeah,
that's kind of what brought the club to my attention, was the snow squad and the news coverage that you guys were getting. So it's just, this is another way to kind of promote you guys. We have a lot of East Coast and Midwest listeners, surprisingly. And again, it's one of those things that when I started doing this, I was just like, oh, look at that. Look at all those people out there that are want to actually pay attention to this. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Well, and there's a lot more people out there interested in off-roading than you would ever think are out there interested.
Yeah. I think a lot of people get themselves in trouble and get out into stuff they're not supposed to because they don't have a club or a good mentor of some kind to look to. And, it's great when a group like you guys exists so that folks can kind of find those people that will help them. Like, you take your vehicle, they're stocked to the park for the first time. And they're like, you can do this and you can do that. Don't try this. If you like this, then maybe you get bigger tires. If you don't like this, then maybe you get back to the dirt roads. So
we do a lot of that where we'll take newbies out with us. And and we'll just ask them at the beginning, what are you comfortable? If we start to cross something you're not comfortable with, you need to say so. And then we'll go around it. We won't put you in that situation. I had a newbie I say a newbie, I shouldn't say that, but the gentleman was driving a brand new 4XE, probably didn't have 5,000 miles on it. And he wanted to take it off-road at Kansas Rocks. And I had a buddy in front of him, and I was behind him. There were just three of us. And every obstacle, I would get out. And fortunately, Amy was driving. So I would get out, and I would spot him across, rocks this high. Because there was a chance he was going to high center, because he was running completely stock. So I was spotting him over stuff. And, it's like, and the thing is, when he left there for the day, he was excited. He felt good. He was happy. And he'd had a great, great day. We'd run all green trails. So, riding around on 37s, we were like, okay, but he had the time of his life.
Hey, sometimes it's a part of that community is about making sure that the lowest common denominator in terms of equipment can get through the trail and that everybody gets through it safely without breaking something, right? Like you don't want to be pulling people over rocks and stuff all day either, because that's not fun. People break stuff that way.
Yeah. Yep.
And just giving people that first taste of what it's like to off-road and realize that your rig can really do all this and you can really be the one behind the wheel making it happen. I mean, I love doing, difficult trails, but I would say now that I've been in the club for as many years as I have, the most exciting thing that I get to do is take a new group out for the first time. And even if we're going at a snail's pace, even if I'm on 38s and I'm going over little pebbles, it doesn't matter. It's seeing that light just spark, and you can tell right there, okay, this is the moment that they got excited. And they are going to be a friend of mine in the off-road community and beyond for who knows how many years. And it's all because they got out there that very first time, and I'm just glad that I get to be a part of it. And we've got lots of members that do the same exact thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mark of any good club. And Mike, you were right. He could sell me the phone book, my friend. And we live in an age of cell phones. And I'm telling you, I want to move to Kansas City now just to be a part of the club.
Oh, pump the brakes, pump the brakes, pump the brakes.
Yeah, I was going to say, rest assured, we want to move where you are, not you to where we are.
All right, that's fair. The migration point to Colorado is flattening out, so it might actually get more affordable soon. I'll leave that up to you guys. Yeah, we'll see. I have yet to see that part of it. All right, well, so what do you guys got planned? I mean, other than, kind of your through April, do you guys have any kind of big plans for the club as a whole down the line? Or is it just kind of, we're just keep doing our events, keep doing the Snow Squad stuff and kind of keep pumping along?
Well, hopefully we don't do Snow Squad for too much longer.
Well, I mean, it depends. Yeah. I forget that you guys are closer.
Maybe
you guys
one
are closer
more
to summer. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we might have some more snow coming in like this coming Tuesday, possibly. We'll just have to wait and see. We've got the big events that we do every year. We've got Go Topless Day coming up here in a couple months. That's a great introduction for a lot of people to the club because they want to come out, take their top off. So that's a really good time. Of course, we've got like all of our wheeling trips coming up. Do you guys still chase the Jeep badges out in Colorado?
Yeah, I mean, I do. There are, I know that our regular listeners do, and we have some folks that I'm sure would turn their noses up at the whole program, but I still think it's a great way for people to kind of forced to be test out new areas and see what they're like. And it's not necessarily about the huge challenge of it. No one's going to tell you that Engineer Pass is a really hard trail, but getting out on Engineer Pass is if it doesn't move you in some way, shape, or form, there is something wrong with you.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of members that love to chase badges. I'm one of them.
Okay.
And that's what brought me to Land Between the Lakes, to Beasley's, and going all the way down to Florida and doing the Ocala National Forest. So anything technical there? Absolutely not. The biggest risk you have is getting some pinstripes down the side of your rig. But it took me someplace where I wouldn't have otherwise gone, and it was a great experience regardless. But something along the same lines of those Jeep badges that we're trying to incorporate this year with the club are these challenge patches. So we try and do swag here at the club. Mike's got one of the Midwest Krawlers hats. I've probably got a half dozen hats and a bunch of T-shirts. But new for this year, we're doing the Velcro hats, and we're designing some custom patches for the club. And so
that's really cool.
This first patch is the Midwest Krawlers No One Left Behind. So if you're a member and you buy one of the hats, it's the last patch you're ever going to buy at our club, because every patch after that, and we've got maybe 8 or 9 of them planned for this year, every other patch you want to get with the club, you can't buy it. No one's going to sell it to you. It's something you've got to earn.
Oh, that's great.
You're going to earn it by doing something like Snow Squad.
Right.
This isn't airing before Wednesday. So Wednesday, we're actually Wednesday is going to be our first Midwest Krawlers meeting of the year. And we're inviting all of the Snow Squad volunteers, the ones that gave rides and the ones that worked behind the scenes, running dispatch. We're going to invite them all up to the front, and we're going to present each one of them with their own Snow Squad patch. That's something that they had to earn. And then we're going to be doing other ones. So if we do trail cleanup or trail maintenance at Kansas Rocks, there's probably going to be a patch for you. If you do Go Topless Day, it's a fun event, not really a volunteer event, but just the fact that you showed up and you're part of the off-road community, here's your patch. And so I think it'll catch on the same way that the Jeep badges have, only now instead of it just being your Jeep going on a trail, it's what have you done? How far are you willing to go? What patches are you going to earn this year? And just see how many of them stick on your headliner at the end of the year.
We also do adopt a highway, so there will be a patch for the highway cleanup.
That's really great.
Things along those lines. I mean, we do a lot. We do everything we can to give back to the communities we live in, because that tread lightly philosophy is important to us. So we do everything we can to give back any way we can.
That's really cool. You guys do a lot of cleanups of the parks then? Do you guys do a lot of that kind of just helping out where you can?
Yeah, we have a section of Kansas Rocks Park that we have adopted.
Oh, cool.
last year's trail cleanup, the sketchy part of that one, and mind you, I bent my tie rod on this trip, but whatever. Um, there was a tree that had fallen over one of the double black trails, which is pretty much a side by side only trail because there's no way I'm taking my Jeep up it. But there was a tree that had fallen on it, and the tree was 3 foot 42 inches around, and we wound up, in order to get it, we had 2 winches tied onto it, one tied on straight, one tied on from the angle, and we cut it with chainsaws to the point that we could get it and drag it up to the top and then cut it up into pieces and get it off the trail.
Yep.
And not 100 feet after that, I bent my front tie rod, rolled a big rock up onto its edge, and yeah, it didn't do any favors.
Sometimes when the trail is telling you to go home, man, you should just go home.
And you weren't even there to wheel. No. You were there to do maintenance.
Yes.
See, there it is. All of the things came to be. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's how those things go. Yeah. I've the most damage I've done to my Jeep has not been like hardcore off-roading, and it's always been something stupid, and I've gotten home later and I've just been like, man, I really wish that would have been something cooler. Yep. Like, for me, we've had a couple of hosts roll, and I'm just like, I've never had something that cool.
Me either.
Like the biggest damage I've done to mine has been suspension or axle related, and it's from going 70 miles an hour and hitting a Kansas City pothole.
Oh,
that'll get you every time.
But yeah. Yep. That'll do it. Yeah. Honestly, any Midwest pothole, if we're being 100%, anything just in that whole belt of an area. Okay. I've taken up enough of your time at this point, but a couple final question for you then. What's your favorite place to wheel and this can be a local park that you guys like to go to. It could be, Imogene or Colorado in San Juans that you like, or in Moab. Is there a place that you would always go back to? Maybe we take that outside of your parks that are local.
Personally, I have a serious soft spot for Ouray. Imogene is probably my favorite trail of all time. And, I know it was my first hard one. And I just fell in love with it. And I love all of those parks right there focused around Imogene. And I've yet to be able to do Black Bear because it was closed when I was there in the fall, it was closed. And I'm really hoping to go back because everybody tells me it'll scare me and I want to try it.
Yeah. Everybody keeps telling me that too. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. So if you come to Denver Metro, there's a place where you can test yourself out and see if you can handle Black Bear or not.
Oh, tempting.
Oh yeah. It's right. Hey, it's right outside of Georgetown, and it's just a cliff with about a 2,000 foot fall, and all you can see is highway from the trail. It's pretty intense. I'll send you guys a picture later. But yeah, what about you, man? Brantley?
I've got 2 trails. One of them is the first one I ever did in Missouri whenever I first discovered the Midwest Krawlers, and that's Pee Wee's Crossing in SMORR. It's one of the easiest trails. In fact, if you're a first-time wheeler, it's probably the first one you will ever do. But it was me, my wife riding shotgun, and my 2 kids in car seats in the back with our boxer dog in the very, very back. And it was a torrential rainstorm, and you couldn't tell that we were in a creek. It looked like it was a rushing river. And it was it's the most memorable off-roading experience I've ever had. And the kids had a ball. My wife was excited. I was having a great time. And it's always going to be my sentimental favorite trail. So there's that one. I
think that first trail always imprints on you.
Yeah. So there's that one. But as far as a trail that I would do again and again and again, and it's a distance away, it's going to be back way to Crown King in Arizona. Okay. That one was about a 26 miler. Have you done it?
No, but I have been told a couple of times that's one of the ones I need to do when I go to Arizona, which might be next year. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely hit it up. We did all the trails in Arizona. We did Schnebley Hill in Sedona. Oof. That one will rock you back and forth because it's like
this. Your kidneys.
I was going to say I wasn't peeing red, but I probably could have been. The only thing dangerous about that trail, aside from getting rocked all over the place, were the pink Jeeps barreling down the trail to pick up their next round of victims, and you have to dodge them because they're not moving. But so we did Schnebly, we did Mesa, we did them all. But Crown King was 26 miles. We did it in March, and you start almost at sea level, and there's cacti about 20 foot tall next to your rig, and it's 97 degrees in the desert. And 8 hours later, you finally made it up to that small mountain town of Crown King. You go to the bar up there, you have a drink, you get a burger, and now you're up in the snow of the Alpines. And that trail has everything from just overlanding to, we're not even going to attempt that because we got to drive this thing home. But just an amazing trail, and everything that you see, and just the fact that it was great for our marriage, because my wife has never had to spot me. And we're going up this waterfall, and I'm in the rig, and there's another rig behind us, so we weren't out there alone. But she's spotting me up, and she's telling me what to do, but she's not making it super clear. And she's like, just look at what I'm doing. And I'm like, I can't see you because I'm completely vertical. All I see is blue sky. That's all I see, honey. That's all I see. You just tell me passenger or driver, and I will trust you. And I trusted her, and we're still married. So it was great for the relationship.
That could have gone one of two ways, I feel like. And I'm glad you got up it okay.
Oh, yeah. We would have been married regardless. She's definitely a keeper. I 100% married up. And like I said at the beginning, it's not my Jeep. This is her Jeep. This was her decision. So we're not wrecking my Jeep.
That's fantastic. Wow. All right.
What's your favorite trail? What's your favorite trail, JD?
Oh, I've said it before, and I'll say it 100 times. It's actually next to the one that I was telling you guys about, the 2,000-foot drop and Shelf Road. It's this Argentine Pass. It was the first one I did here in Colorado, the first roughish trail that I took. I had a stock 2000 TJ with street tires I took it on, and it's about a 3 or 4 out of a 10 trail, and I had no business being up there. I broke my wife a little bit because I had the doors and top off of it, and it goes up to 13,000 feet about. And so, she doesn't do that one anymore. But I highly recommend it. If you come to Colorado, it's right outside of Georgetown. It's right outside of a major byway that's here, and it's gorgeous. And it's just one of the few places that's close to Denver that you can kind of get those amazing like San Juan level views. So but my favorite place to wheel is that I had a lot of fun at last year was Sand Hollow, which is kind of an off-road park unto itself, right? Like it's just a mountain. And man, I had a lot of fun there this year. And it wasn't just the event. It was cool just to be able to drive any place and have a great time. All right. And now we've talked too much about me.
So Chicago, favorite pizza in Chicago?
Oh, I am a Giordano's person. 100%. Excuse me, not Giordano's. That is Luminati's.
Okay, Luminati's. Yes. Yeah, I prefer Luminati's over Giordano's.
The reason I say Giordano's is because every time we don't have a Luminati's here, we have a Giordano's. But even when we tried it here, it doesn't cook right because the altitude and it's a whole thing. But somebody sent us a pack of 4 for Christmas. No.
Okay. You never had Pequods?
I don't think so.
Okay, like there was maybe 2 or 3 of them. Did you ever have Gulliver's?
I did not. No. Why are all these places that I feel like I should know about? Why are they not?
Are
they
in Chicago? Are you from Chicago?
Here's the thing. I'm from Chicago in the sense that anybody who lives within 45 minutes of Chicago says they're from Chicago. Yes, gotcha. Exactly. It's really more of a geographical limitation than anything else. So, Pequot sounds kind of familiar, but I don't think I ever went there. And I was always kind of a traditional loose person when I could get it.
Yeah, I think as far as chains go, Illuminati's was always a good one, and Gino's East downtown.
Yeah,
that was my favorite.
Yeah, Gino's.
I guess big name that was really good.
Yeah, I'd like them to come west. Gino's East, if you're listening, or Illuminati's, who's ever listening. We're about to get a Portillo's here, and I couldn't be more excited.
Portillo's.
Okay. I'm so happy.
See, I never really cared for Chicago style dogs.
Okay.
I didn't really care for Portillo's, with the exception of their chocolate cake.
Okay.
Oh, their chocolate cake was to die for. Their burgers were okay. Yeah. Okay, like their hot dogs were good, but I never felt comfortable asking for ketchup.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair thing. Like They give it to you now on the side. Like if you want it, you can take it, but we're not going to endorse it. Yeah. Yeah. Their beef is fantastic. So they're going to put one here next to the airport. And I'm like, it's still an hour for me, but I will drive for it. I don't care.
That is worth
I carried 4 pounds of it with me. Yep.
Yeah, I've driven farther for much less than that.
%. Yep. I came back to Chicago for a short trip, and I brought home 4 pounds of beef with me on the airplane, and just in a bag with a bag of ice. I'm sure I looked like an insane person, but I'm like, this is good. It was great. It was worth every moment of trying to carry it through the airport. All right. So now that we've all made each other hungry. So you guys your next big event is going to be coming up here probably before this actually airs. So if you guys are out there and you're interested in check out the MidwestKrawlers.com, it's Midwest Krawlers with a K. And it's got all the information. You guys got the event listing on there. You've got how to join, all that kind of stuff in there, right?
100%.
Everything is on the site. You can access everything from the homepage. Okay.
Fantastic. And I'm guessing that your next big one is probably the Go Topless Day. Okay, this will air before then. Yeah.
Like once this airs, the next big event is probably going to be Go Topless Day, unless we make a special trip down to SMORR.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, then we'll count on
talk. We're going to go there. So.
All right. Well, if I edit it and I tell you guys it's going to go live, and I'll put a little thing at the bottom saying, actually, go to Midwest Krawlers to see exactly where they're going to be at this week, or just do that. Go to Midwest Krawlers.
Just do that.
And see where
just do that.
There you go. Are you guys all over the Instagrams and stuff like that?
We're pretty heavy on Facebook. Instagram used to be a little bit, but not so much. Facebook seems to be where most of the community's at. Yeah. So.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, you got to go where your people are at. I saw one of your partners is Lord's Lightning. I guess those guys are local to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those guys are great.
Yeah, those guys are.
A couple of first responders.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. They just renewed their partnership with us for 2025. I talked to Derek 2 weeks ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, they're a great group.
They are. Those guys. You know what? I could not live without my 4-way. That's all I'm saying.
I've gotten real used to it. It's very.
Can you clarify?
It's a spoiling thing.
Can you clarify what you mean when you say 4-way?
I feel like we should leave it out there, like the Go Topless thing.
Just leave it out there.
We haven't really told anybody. Like we haven't said to anybody who's just listening to the show. Like you can take your Jeep without a top on, but like we're just assuming people are just going topless.
Yeah, we're just going out to go topless, Brantley. That's all.
What kind of club is this?
I don't know if you want to ask that question, but there might be a potluck involved. All right, it's enough. All right, guys. Well, so please check out MidwestKrawlers.com. Brantley, you got anything else that you want to throw out there before we go?
One of the best it's one of the worst financial decisions I've ever made, and one of the best.
Being president of the club or getting a Jeep?
Getting a Jeep, but then joining the club was amazing. Okay. I mean, absolutely. You meet some of the very best people in the world, and I think that goes for off-roaders in general. They're the first ones to stop if you're having trouble on the side of the road, and they're always there to lend a helping hand. It's just in their blood. So if you're not in a club, if you're local to Kansas City, check out Midwest Krawlers. We'd love to have you. If you're somewhere else in the nation, look up a club near you. It's going to be 110% worth it. You're going to get so much out of it. Definitely don't wait. Get involved.
We do in Midwest Krawlers. We have members from all over the country. Most of our membership is localized to this area, but we do have members elsewhere.
I'm sure people come in.
Yeah. My wife has a friend in Oklahoma. I'm actually hauling her swag pack down to K-Rock's Frostbite event because she's coming up from Oklahoma, and I'm just going to meet her there and give it to her. So it'll be the first time I've seen her since last year. So
awesome. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we do. We have members all over, because the nice thing is when we do our meetings and stuff, it's all streamed online it's all streamed live on Facebook.
Okay, there you go.
So even the people that can't come to the meeting can come to the meeting.
Participate.
Yep.
All right. Now, what about you, man? Would you get anything else that we should know before we get out of here, Mike?
No, I think I talk too much.
Oh, I feel like I do this show and I feel like I talk too much. Never feel like that. You're good. I invited you here to do that.
No, it's I'm really, really pleased that you invited us to do this. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys very much for coming on the show. Part of the mission of the show is to reach out more. There's a lot of podcasts, off-road podcasts that are out there, especially for the hardcore off-roaders and just the overland groups and those kinds of things. And we really kind of aim to bridge that gap. You know, we have an overland host and we have a couple of hardcorers, and I'm kind of that middle road. And it's really nice to see a group like yours just thriving in the Midwest, where you wouldn't think there's a whole lot of that. And on top of the sense of community, just the fact that an off-road club like that exists where people can go use that stuff and really get involved with the off-road piece of it. And the community piece is just this really nice bonus that not a lot of people get from their clubs. So fantastic. And thanks for what you guys are doing out there. I mean, regardless of where you live, helping first responders should be everybody's goal at some level. Like, those folks are out there doing the work, man. They're doing the work.
It's our pleasure. 100%.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for your time. Again, check out Midwest Krawlers with a K. .com, and you can get all the information about them. You can find them on Facebook. Brantley, Mike, thank you very much for coming on the show. We'll have you back sometime, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
This is where trails start and our stories unfold. And our stories unfold.